Problem number 5. Graph the quadratic function. We have f of x equals x plus 1 squared. So again, we're starting off with our basic function, with our basic quadratic function, which would be f of x equals x squared. But now in our case, we also have a plus 1 within the squared part. So whenever we have something within that parentheses, that would mean it indicates a shift to the right or to the left. And that part will be always the opposite. So in our case, it's plus 1. It gets shifted to the left in the negative direction. And this would be our new parabola. To better understand why it is in the opposite direction, we have to look at the quadratic function in vertex form, which will be f of x is equal to a, and then within the parentheses we have x minus h squared plus k. So the a, it's going to indicate if the parabola is opening up or down, depending on if the a is positive or negative. Also, it tells us if the parabola is stretched or shrunk. Then we have the h here, and this is what we're dealing right now. The h represents the x value of the vertex. The vertex is a coordinate, vertex, and that would be the most lowest, or in the case where the parabola is opening downward, the most highest point, so the minimum or maximum of the parabola. In our case, it's a minimum, and that will be a coordinate. And that coordinate would represent h and k. Remember, usually you have the x value first, so this would be the x value on the x-axis, and k represents the y value. In our case, the vertex, we can read that off the graph, would be -1, 0. We move from the origin from 0 1 unit in the negative direction, so -1 for x, and 0 units up or down. We're staying right here on the x-axis. So therefore the coordinate of the vertex is -1, 0. Now going back to our vertex form of the quadratic equation, right here where we have the minus h part, the formula already has a negative sign, which means to get the x coordinate of -1, we have to plug in a -1 for h. So right here for h, and once we simplify that, you see that the 1 becomes positive, just as in our original function. And this is the reason why we always have to shift in the opposite direction as the number that is within the parentheses. In our case, 1 unit to the left.